Alright, so this is my quantum Graydles. Alright, so we have the Red Ranger, Blue Ranger, Green Ranger, and the White Ranger, right? 3 of each. Quantum monsters. So you can, obviously do the quantum stuff. Then we got 3 of each of the 3-star Graydles that can steal your opponent's monsters when they are destroyed by battle or by a specific card effect. In Eagle's case is by monster effect. In Cobra's case is by traps. And in Alligator's case is by spell. Red Ranger. If you control monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only use this the effects of Red Ranger once per turn, right? So when he's normal or special summon, you can target a super quantum card in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So you can get the field spell or any of the other rangers right to your hand. So that's pretty nice, right? If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one super quantum monster in your graveyard except Red Ranger and special summon it, but its effects cannot be activated while face up on the field. So that's important. It's not just for the turn, it's while face up on the field, which sucks, right? Cool thing about this effect is that you can bring back the mecha phantom monsters with this, so that's pretty good. For example, let's say you use the Red Ranger with the field spell, and use the field spell to summon Mecha Beast Magna Liger, and then it got destroyed by battle by a card effect. Then you can use the Red Ranger's effect to bring back the Magna Liger, and then on your turn, since it has no materials, right, and since you can't even activate its effect because of Red Ranger's ability, you can summon Gaia Charge on top of him and still have a nice little 2600 beater with the added ability of piercing damage if you attack a defense position monster. So that's pretty good. So that's something you can take into consideration. Moving on, we got the Blue Ranger. When this card is normal or special summon, you can add one super quantum card from your deck to hand. That means you can add the field spell or any of the quantum rangers, except for a copy of the Blue Ranger itself, right? If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target up to 3 super quantum cards in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck. You can only use each effect once per turn. Obviously, great effect because this is their search card, plus this is also your recycle, so you can recycle, so you have infinite ability to search and play the field spell over and over again and all that good stuff, because you can return the Quanti Mecha Beast monsters back into the extra deck in case you want to resummon them to use them again. But if you're doing the whole trying to summon the Megazord thing, leave them in the grave. Obviously leave them in the grave, because the field spell can grab them back from the graveyard and add them as XYZ materials to the Megazord, right? So you want to recycle, blue itself, Blue Ranger, Red Ranger, and Green Ranger. Typically that's what you want to do. You could also recycle, the White Ranger, right? Super Quantum Fairy Alphan. You can recycle him if need be, but typically I just do red, blue, and green. Because I want to, right? I mean, they all have their own use for this, but you could do red, blue, and white. Red, white, and blue, right? America, you could do red, white, and blue if you want, because of the fact that each of these 3 have their own individual effects. So if you top deck her, she can search, or if you top deck the Red Ranger, you can special summon. Nice little 2000 beater, right? And if you top deck, the Fairy Alphan, You can use his ability to potentially get red, blue, or a green onto the field, depending on which one your opponent chooses randomly from your hand, right? By Alphen's effect. Alphen also has the effect. Wait, I didn't even say green, my bad. Green Ranger. When it's normal or special summon, you can special summon one super quantum monster from your hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can discard one super quantum card. That means the field spell, trap, or any of the monsters. I don't use the trap. I just like the field spell. It works fine. It'd be cool to see what spells, what traps and spells they create. Might, to upgrade this deck, right? But right now, what I'm working with works just fine. Wait, I'm on the Green Ranger. So when it's normal or special, you can special summon a quantum monster from your hand, which is good because that's a good way of getting the level 5 onto the field. But a typical combo you would do is special summon the Red Ranger by his own effect. Use the Green Ranger special, the Blue Ranger. Use the Blue Ranger to get the field spell. Play the field spell, and if you just so happen to have 3 cards in your hands, bang, bang, bang. You just upgraded all the Rangers into their Zoid modes, right? And then use the field spell's effect to bring on the Megazord. So, but it is kind of hard to get the scenario where you have 3 cards. Because essentially you have to go second, and then you have to hope your opponent doesn't stop none of your plays. Then you can go red, green, blue, grab the field spell, play the field spell with the remaining 3 cards in your hand, summon one of each of the Megazords, and then, of the Zords, and then bring on the Megazord. So moving on, Alphen's effect is once per turn you can target one super quantum monster you control, and all face-up monsters you currently control become that target's current level. This deck doesn't use the E-Telly. This is not the E-Telly variant. This is more of a control stun deck variant, so it doesn't use the E-Telly in this version. But in the other version, the Quantum Ranger deck, that one will use E-Telly, and you could do a E-Telly, which is emergency teleport, to bring out the Blue Ranger since it's a psychic. That's level 3, get its effect, and then you can add the Fairy Alphen to your hand. Normal summon, use that ability to copy the Blue Ranger's ability. Now both are 3, and then you can overlay and make a rank 3. Which, if this did have the E-Telly combo, you could go into like an Asagom or something, and that's just one potential combo. Another one is if you have Red Ranger in your hand, right, with Fairy Alphen, you special summon the Red Ranger, normal summon Alphen, target him, and now you have 2 level 5s. You can overlay, and you can go into, in this deck's case, Tyrus. There actually is no other generic 5 you can go into in this deck other than Tyrus. But in the other builds, you can go into Bokosaurus and any other, maybe even Artifact Randall, depending on what you want. But it's the fact that you could go into any of those. But of course, you can go right into your Magna Liger, use Magna Liger's ability, pop a monster. And if you want, you can go into a Gaia Charger play, or you can summon Frozen Lady Justice by detaching the second material from Magna Liger. Right, destroy your opponent's defense position monsters if he has any. Unless if he has any, if not, then you just, that's how you're going to summon this. If you want to use this card's effect, detach the Magna Liger to activate this effect, which will destroy all your opponent's defense position monsters. But if you choose not to and keep the material, so then you can summon Full Armor Crystal Zero Lancer using Frozen Lady Justice as a material. Now Zero Lancer has 2 materials because you need a rank 5 Water XYZ monster in order to summon this, right? I mean, you can summon this with 3 level 6 water monsters, but that's not necessary. And then this has the ability that this card gains 500 attack for each XYZ material attached to it. It'll have 2, so it'll be a 3200, which is nice, right? If it would be destroyed either by battle or by card effect, you can detach a material from this card instead, which is great, right? Self-protection. And obviously you can protect it twice. Once per turn, you can detach a material from this card, negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls until the end of this turn, which is useful for negating the, let's say a monster gets a power boost, has an effect that makes them, strong, like a Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon or something like that, then you can negate the effect, right, and make it have 0. Chimera Tech Overlord Dragon, make it 0, and so forth and so forth. Slight for the Sky Dragon, make it 0, so forth and so forth. You get the idea. So it's a really good effect, and the fact that it'll be a nice little 3200 beater that will be hard to destroy by Mirror Force or Dark Hole or anything of that nature is really awesome, right? So there's a lot of potential, a lot of extra power in the extra deck, right? And of course you can normal summon the Green Ranger, summon the Fairy Elfine, and then use this effect to copy it, and now you have 2 level 4s, and you can go into a nice little generic rank 4. In this deck, there is no generic rank 4, but you can also use Green Ranger, summon Green Ranger, which is 2 spellcasters, which lets you summon Downward Magician. So you got that at least, right? Downward Magician can also be summoned during your main phase 2 by using a rank 3 or lower XYZ monster. The rank 3 in this deck is Mecha Beast Grand Pulse. So, right, moving on. Of course, we already mentioned that the Graydles can steal your opponent's monsters, so you can use their monsters against them. If you happen to steal somebody's rank 4 Utopia monster, you can summon Utopia the Lightning. It has the ability that when it attacks or is attacked, your opponent can activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step. So you don't have to worry about Honest. But also you don't have to worry about Mirror Force, Deep Prison, things of that nature, right? When this card battles an opponent's monster, while it has a Utopia monster, it can make itself a 5,000 and this, that, and third. But as an extra material, door damage calculation, you can detach 2 materials from this card, and then it becomes 5,000 during the damage step only. So that's really nice, especially the fact that you get a nice free powerhouse, all thanks to a grid on your opponent making a Utopia, right? If you take your opponent's Cyber Dragon Nova, you can make Cyber Dragon Infinity. Yay! Everybody's favorite, right? Once per turn, you can detach a material to negate the effect of a spell, trap, or monster effect that was activated, negate and destroy it. Also, you have the ability to once per turn target a face-up attack position monster and attach it as XYZ material to this card. And this gets 200 attack for each material attached to it. Yay, power! Full armored Black Ray Lancer. I know I'm kind of skipping the spells and traps. Don't worry, I'll get back to them. I mean, they're pretty generic, right? You want to hear the good stuff, which is Black Ray Lancer, full armored, right? The way I summon him is by summoning him on top of Mecha Beast Grand Pulse after I used up all its materials. One quick way to do that, obviously, is to summon Blue Ranger, get the field spell, play the field spell, discard any card in your hand to summon Grand Pulse. Use Grand Pulse effect, detaching the Blue Ranger to pop your opponent's back row or any back row that's on the field that you want to get rid of. Let's say you want to get rid of the red screen, get rid of it, right? And then, since now it has no more materials, then you can summon the full armor Black Ray Lancer on top of it, and it'll get 200 for each material attached to it, so it'll be a 2,300. And then when it destroys the monster by battle, you can target 1 spell trap on your opponent's side of the field and destroy it. And this is like a constant MSC. Gotta love it. It's just keep popping their monsters, keep popping their back row, keep popping the monster, keep popping the back, right? So I love that. And so that's a combo right there. Down to the Magician, already mentioned what you can do with that. It's a 2100 piercer. It gets 200 for each material attached to it. You can summon it on top of Grand Pulse, you know, in main phase 2. And it has piercing damage. Anytime it battles, it loses a material. You could also make this using two green rangers. Since they're both spellcasters level 4, you can make it that way. Number 21, Frozen Lady Justice. Point out the way you makers using a rank 5 XYZ monster. This, that, third, blah, blah, blah. Has that ability. We already explained those. Gaia Charger, Piercer, 2600. You already know that. Moving on, Tyrus. The way you make them is using Red Ranger and Alphan, or 2 Red Rangers. You know, if you soul charge, you use 2 Red Rangers. You can make Tyrus. This card's effects can only be activated and applied while it has material. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. Can be destroyed by card effects. At the end of the battle phase, if this card attacked or was attacked, target one card your opponent controls and destroy that target. During each of your end phases, detach material from this card. So it's a pretty good monster. You know, it can protect itself from Mirror Force, Darkhold, things of that nature, and help you get rid of back row, which is always good. Now I'm gonna get back to the spells and traps, and then I'll get back to the Zoids. Right, Zords. Field spell. You can discard 1 card, then target 1 Super Quantum Mecha Pilot monster you control. Special summon from your extra deck 1 Super Quantum Mecha Beast XYZ monster with the same attribute as that monster by using it as XYZ material. This special summon is treated as an actual XYZ summon. You can send this card from the field zone to the graveyard, then target 3 Super Quantum Mecha Beast XYZ monsters with different names in your graveyard and or you control. Special summon 1 Super Quantum Mecha Lord Great Magnus from your extra deck, and if you do, attach all those targets and the XYZ materials attached to them to summon to the summon monster as XYZ materials. Woo! So you can get a lot of materials. You can end up with, like, let's see, 2, 4, 6. Yeah, 6 materials. You could potentially end up with 6 materials if you keep all the Rangers with all their Zords, right? You get 6 materials added to your Megazord. Alright. And of course, the field spell can be played more than once. You could, you keep discarding it to keep doing its effect. There's no limit. I didn't know that when I first played it, but once I found that out, oh my god, that was fun. Release Restraint Wave. Select 1 face-up equipped spell card you control, destroy it, and all set spell and trap cards your opponent controls. So this is your massive back row hate. The way you'll activate this effect is using the Graydles after they've been equipped to your opponent's monsters. So that's how you can trigger this card's effect. Is you steal your opponent's monster with the Graydle, use this to pop the Graydle card, pop your opponent's back row. Of course, the monster will be destroyed in the process, but as long as you got rid of the back row, it doesn't matter. And then you can start, going off and try to make your best, try to go into your Megazord play, right? Twister, activated. It's a quick play. Discard a card, pop 2 spells and traps. More back row hate. The more the merrier, right? You gotta get rid of all them floodgates, right? Then we got Wing Blast. You could take this out if you want and put in something like Imperial Iron Wall, Black Green Horn of Heaven, or regular Horn of Heaven, or even Black Horn of Heaven if you want, whatever works for you. Or Royal Decree, in case you want to switch this deck up a little bit. That's a small recommendation. Wing Blast, discard 1 card, target 1 card your opponent controls and place it on top of their deck. It's a good way to slow them down. Also, it's a good way of getting rid of anything that can't be destroyed by card effects. Also, it's good for. Well, yeah, that was it. Slow them down. Oh yeah. Plus, it's versatile. You can do it to any card, spells, traps, or monsters, so it's not much of a dead draw. Because, you know, if your opponent only has monsters, hey, it still works on it. If they only have spells and traps, hey, this works on them, right? But, you know, to each their own preference. You can take it out if you want and put something else in. Red screen, defense, you know, you want to stall long enough to, you know, to get your combo pieces and, you know, spam. And if your opponent's, you know, countering and negating and using their solemn notices on your monsters and stuff like that, you want something to stall long, you know, to help defend you long enough to, you know, make a comeback. You lose 1,000 or each of your end phases. That is not optional. Even if Royal Decree was on the field, you will still be losing that 1,000 life points. If you have exactly 1,000 life points left when you end your turn with this card, you will lose, because you have 1,000 to give, so you will lose. That's a stupid ruling they made, but whatever. That's not the way it used to be before. If you would die from a card effect, you would actually just destroy the card, not die from it. Now you can die from it, right? That's stupid. But if you have less than 1,000, then this will self-destruct and you'll survive. But, you know, if you want, you can get rid of it. You can pop it, you know, using the blue Zoid. Solemn Notice, Counter Trap. When a monster or monsters would be special summoned, as an inherent, this is for inherent summons, or a monster effect is activated, pay 1,500 life points and get the special summon or activation. If you do, destroy that card. So this is obviously very useful to negate monster effects. Also very useful against pendulum summoning, because it says when a monster or monsters, so if they summon multiple monsters, you can use Solemn Notice against that. And it's a good card. Good against Exceed summons. Good to stop Quasar. Good to stop Assault Mode. You know, anything. Cyber Infinity. Anything that's problematic. Even your opponent's own Megazord. You can negate it. So, and then of course you're gonna need this for pendulums. You want to stop them pendulum plays, because the monsters will go to the grave if you use this. And Soul Charge. You might notice there's a lot of life loss cards in this deck, but you know, it's all about playing conservatively. You know, if you play your cards right, you know that life loss wouldn't matter too much. You'll gain some advantage while you're losing life. But Soul Charge will allow you to summon back some monsters that you can hopefully exceed with, or you know, combo it with the field spell. Bring back red, blue, green. Discard 3 cards while you have the field spell on the field. Bring out 1 each of the Zords, and then go into the Megazord and make a comeback, right? So it's 3,000 life points plus discarding 3 cards is worth it to bring out this bad boy. And well, this is the Megazord. This card gains effects based on the number of XYZ materials with different names attached to it, and it will have 6 different names attached to it. Roughly. If it has 2 or more, once per turn during either player's turn, you can detach 1 XYZ material from this card and shuffle 1 card on the field into the deck. Really good effect. Really good, because you could do it on your turn, then do it on your opponent's turn. Lots of fun. And shuffling back to the deck is such a great effect. It's definitely one of my favorites. And then if it has 4 or more monsters with different names as materials, it's unaffected by card effects, except by the effect of super quantum cards, of course. Yay! Then if it has 5 or more cards with different names, your opponent cannot add cards from the deck to their hand except by drawing them. Which means no search, no +1s, you know, no search for your opponent. Especially if you get this out, you're going to definitely slow down your opponent, you know, because then his blue ranger will be useless because he won't be able to search. I don't know if it will affect Fairy Alphon. Probably not, but I don't care. You definitely will stop blue, that's for sure. So that way they can't make their plays. But the fact that the opponent can't search will be really bad for some decks. Like Ritual Beast, they like to do that one turn, spam, where they search shitload of traps, set the traps, and end their turn, right? So this would be good against that. See it against any deck that searches. And then, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 3 Super Quantum Mecha Beast XYZ monsters with different names from your graveyard. Isn't that amazing? So that way, if you just so happen to draw the field spell, or even get the Blue Ranger, and then summon it and get the field spell either way, right? As long as you get the field spell, you can make another Megazord. But in this deck, you won't be able to since there's only one. But, hey, it's awesome, right? But if you can make space for another one, why not, right? Since you essentially can recycle them. What would I take out? Everything here so far seems to be useful. Obviously, you could potentially take out the Infinity if need be, even though it's a really good card. The likelihood of a Nova on the field is pretty slim to none, right? So you can put it in a Megazord. We got 2 of the Magna Liger. Cannot attack while it has no material, so if it has no material, it cannot attack. So that's why Gaia Charger comes in handy. Once per turn, you can detach a material from this card, then target one monster on the field and destroy it. If the Red Ranger is attached to this card, you can activate this effect during your opponent's turn, which is nice, right? Once per turn, you can attach a Super Quantum Mecha Pilot monster from your hand or your side of the field to this card as material, which is awesome. The fact that it can add materials to itself, so it can constantly keep, doing what it does. So, for example, you summon it, detach, pop your opponent's monster, then activate the effect to attach material, then attack, deal 26 damage right then in your turn. Opponent draws, let's say they try to play defensive, say put a monster face down to defend themselves, you could pop it. You know what I mean? So that's pretty cool, right? And if you just don't manage to draw another quantum monster to attach, you can just summon Gaia Charger on top of them and attack anyway. But of course, in order to use this effect during your opponent's turn, you're gonna need the Red Ranger. So make sure you have that extra Red Ranger to attach it with if you play that combo. You got 2 of the Grand Pulse Zord, right? Zord cannot attack if it has no materials. Once per turn, you can detach a material from this card and target one spell trap card on the field and destroy it. Monster version of MST, right? So that's good. Get rid of that back row. If this card has the Blue Ranger, right, you can use this ability during your opponent's turn. So it's good for that end phase MST, right? Once per turn, you can attach one Super Quantum Mecha Pilot monster from your hand or your side of the field and attach it to the material. So of course, keep that consistency. Of course, you can do the whole. It has the blue one, or even just any material. But mainly, you're going to have blue attached to it. Detach, pop your opponent's back row. Use Blue Ranger's effect. Recycle 3 quantum cards back into your deck, and then attach another blue to this card, and then that way on your opponent's turn, when he ends his turn, you can end phase MST. Or if he plays something like a tanky or something, it's like, oh nope, don't want you to search. Boom, detach, pop. Since you do have blue attached to it, right? And you can do the same thing with green. His particular ability is you can target one other face-up monster on the field and change it to face on the defense position. This is useful if you need to run over something that's pretty strong and it's weak in defense. This is useful to mess up your opponent's synchro plays, exceed plays. Synchro exceeds, basically that. It's good defensively. Just putting a monster face down will protect you, right? I wish it could target himself, but Konami was slick enough not to give it to himself because he could dodge a lot of bullets if he could target himself. I attack, mirror force. Well, I'll just detach and put him face down and avoid that. I attack, prison. All right, I detach and put him face down and avoid that. You know what I mean? So he can't avoid stuff with that effect, but he can definitely disrupt your opponent. And with him, well, one thing for sure, you can use Green Ranger to summon a Green Ranger overlay and make him, and then that way you can use, you know, his effect twice. You know, you can use it once on your opponent's turn, and then next time it's your opponent's turn again, you can use it again. So that's a good way of using them, because you guarantee you always have a Green Ranger attached, right? So for 2 turns, 2 of your opponent's turns, you'll be able to you know, slow them down, you know, in case they do some type of like tour guide play or something, or like summoner monk play or something, where they're trying to get 2 level 4s or 2 3s, or, you know, trying to get multiple monsters so they can exceed summon, and you're like, nope, put one face down, can't exceed while they're face down, right? Can't sync it while they're face down, and so forth and so forth. And that's it. And that's the end of the deck profile.